A dead man, a woman covered in his blood, and a ranch in the middle of nowhere. That was Earl Denton's midnight. I didn't kill him, she whispered at his door. I swear. He looked past her, boots on gravel, at least 4 men coming close. He stepped aside. Get in, now. Her name was Rosa Vega. She didn't offer much else at first, just stood near the fireplace, shaking, holding her hands out like she didn't know what to do with them. Earl handed her a cloth. Wipe your hands. She did, slowly. Whose blood? He asked. She looked up at him. Don Alvaro, my employer. And you didn't kill him? No. Earl studied her face. In his years as a U.S. Marshal, he had seen every kind of liar. Rosa didn't look like one, but she looked like someone hiding something that was different. Nervous people talk too much. Careful people choose every word. Rosa was very careful. Then why are you running? He asked. Rosa swallowed hard. Because I was there, and someone needs someone to blame. Earl Denton had lived alone on this ranch for 11 years. After leaving the Marshals, he wanted nothing but silence. No cases, no people, no problems. He spent his days mending fences, feeding horses, and watching the sun go down. That was enough. But old habits die hard. He watched Rosa the way he used to watch outlaws, the way she sat back straight, eyes always near the door, the way she answered not nervous, but careful. You worked for Alvaro long? He asked. 3 years, she said. What kind of man was he? Rosa looked at the fire. The kind who smiles at church on Sunday and does dark things on Monday. Earl said nothing, just put a tin cup of coffee in front of her and sat across the table. Drink, he said. Then talk. Rosa said she had been cleaning the east wing of the hacienda when she heard shouting behind a closed door. She looked through the crack. Don Alvaro was arguing with 2 men, rough men, strangers, but one of them she recognized. She had seen him ride into town once, right beside the sheriff. The argument got louder. Then a shot, a single shot. Alvaro hit the floor. Rosa ran, but not before she grabbed something from Alvaro's desk on her way out. A small book, brown leather cover, worn at the edges, full of names, numbers, and dates written in small, tight handwriting. She didn't stop to read it. She just ran. Earl leaned forward. Where is the book now? Rosa looked down at her boots. Safe. Earl nodded slowly. He didn't push. Get some rest, he said. Barn's warm. There's hay in the corner. We talk more at sunrise. Rosa looked at him. You believe me? Earl stood up and carried his cup to the wash bucket. I believe enough. For now. They came just after sunrise. Sheriff Cole and 2 deputies, on horseback, moving slow and easy, the way men move when they think they are already in control. Earl stepped out onto the porch before they reached the gate. Morning, Earl, Sheriff Cole said, tipping his hat. Sheriff, Earl replied, arms crossed, no smile. Looking for a woman, Mexican, might have passed through these parts last night, wanted for murder. Earl looked at him steady. Quiet night out here. Didn't see anyone. Cole held his gaze 1 second too long. That's so. That's so, Earl said. The sheriff looked at the barn, then back at Earl. Then he smiled slow and thin. All right then. You see anything? You send word. They turned their horses and rode off. Earl watched them the whole way, and just before disappearing around the bend, Sheriff Cole gave a small nod to the deputy on his left. Quick, easy to miss. But Earl didn't miss it. He had seen that signal before, back in his marshal days, between men who were not finished yet. He walked back inside. Rosa was behind the door, listening. He's one of them, Earl said. Rosa closed her eyes. I know. Earl sat down across from her, voice low, arms on the table. No more pieces Full truth, right now. Rosa was quiet. Then she reached down and pulled off her left boot. Folded inside the worn leather sole was the small brown book. She placed it on the table between them. Don Alvaro was not just a landowner, she said. He ran a network, moving people across the border. Laborers, women, goods that don't have names. Her voice tightened. And Sheriff Cole helped him, for years, for money. His name is in that book, 3 pages of payments. Earl opened the book carefully, turned the pages. His face stayed still, but his jaw tightened. Why did they kill Alvaro? He wanted to stop, Rosa said. He got scared. Too many people were asking questions. So Cole's men removed him. A pause. And they needed someone to blame. You. Me, she said quietly. Earl set the book down. And you brought this here, to my land. Rosa met his eyes. Yes. Why? She folded her hands on the table. Because I knew who you were. 8 years ago, Rosa said, a young man was arrested near the southern border. Wrong place, wrong time. The marshal who looked at the real evidence, who had the courage to let him go when everyone else said, hang him, that was you. Earl went very still. That man was my brother, Rosa said softly. The room held the silence for a long moment, just the crackle of the fire and the wind through the old window frame. He never forgot your name, she continued. He said, if there is ever a man in this world you can trust with your life, it is Earl Denton. Earl looked away. Something moved behind his eyes, old and heavy. Your brother, he said quietly. Is he well? Rosa smiled, small and real. He has a wife, 2 sons, a small piece of land near the river. He is well. Oh. Earl nodded once, said nothing more. But Rosa saw it the way his shoulders dropped slightly, like something he had been carrying for a long time had shifted just a little. They came back that same night, 6 riders this time, torches burning, rifles across their saddles. Earl spotted them from the top of the hill behind the barn. They are not coming to arrest you, he said. They are coming to make sure that book never reaches anyone who matters. Rosa stood beside him, jaw tight, eyes steady. What do we do? She asked. Earl thought for a moment. There is a telegraph office in Millfield, 12 miles east. If we can get a rider there before dawn, we can reach the federal marshals, real ones. Not Cole's men. He looked at her. Can you ride hard? Yes. No hesitation. Then you take the book. Ride to Millfield. I'll hold them here long enough for you to get clear. Rosa shook her head. I am not leaving you alone against 6 men. I'm not asking, Earl said. He picked up his rifle and checked the chamber. Go, now. She looked at him for a long moment. Then quietly, don't die, old man. Earl almost smiled. I'll do my best. He moved through the dark ranch like a man who had never truly stopped being a marshal. Earl knew every shadow, every corner, every board that creaked, and every fence post that held. 2 men came from the front. Earl let them get close, then stepped out from behind the water trough and disarmed the first before the second even raised his rifle. 2 more came around the side. Earl moved low and fast through the dark. But there were too many. A man cornered him against the barn wall, rifle leveled. Then a hard crack from behind. The man dropped. Rosa stood there, breathing hard, a thick fence post in both hands. Earl stared at her. I told you to ride. I rode, she said, catching her breath, to the telegraph office, sent the message, rode back. Earl looked at her. You did all that, he said slowly, and came back. You needed someone to watch your back, she said simply. Sheriff Cole came last. Alone, pistol drawn, torch in one hand, casting long shadows across the yard. It's finished, Earl, he said. Hand over the book, and I walk away. No trouble. Earl stepped out from the barn doorway. Rosa stood just behind him. You burned innocent people, Cole, Earl said. His voice was flat and calm. You put your name next to theirs for silver. That finishes here. Cole raised his pistol. Then hoofbeats, coming fast from the east road. 4 riders broke through the darkness, federal marshal badges catching the torchlight. Cole turned. The pistol dropped to his side. It was over. Sunrise came quiet and slow. The federal marshals had taken Cole and his remaining men. The brown leather book was now in federal hands. Rosa had given her full account, every word steady and clear. She stood by her horse in the early light, ready to ride. Earl leaned on the porch post, arms folded. "The telegraph message," he said. "You planned that before sunset." "I wasn't going to leave everything to rifles," she said. Earl was quiet a moment. Smart. Rosa turned to face him fully. "Thank you for opening that door." "Your brother is a good man," Earl said. "I made a call 8 years ago because the truth was plain. Looks like it mattered." Rosa stepped forward and held out her hand. Earl shook it, firm and slow, the way men shake hands when words are not enough. She mounted her horse, paused with the reins in her hands. "What will you do now?" she asked. Earl looked out at the ranch, the broken fence from last night, the scorched ground near the gate, his land, still standing. Then he reached into his coat pocket and pulled something out. Old, heavy, a little tarnished. His marshal's badge. He looked at it for a long moment, then pinned it back onto his chest. Rosa smiled wide and full. She turned her horse toward the road and rode into the morning without looking back. Earl watched until she disappeared over the hill. Then he walked back toward the ranch, and for the first time in 11 years, he left the front door open. Some people knock on your door by accident, and some people find you because they were always meant to. Rosa did not just bring danger to Earl's doorstep that cold night. She brought him something far harder, to find a reason to be who he used to be. The book brought justice. Every name inside it led to an arrest. A network that had operated in the shadows for years was dismantled. Families who had lost people finally had answers. And all of it started with a midnight knock. All of it started because an old rancher, tired, alone, and long retired, chose to step aside and say, "Get in, now." Rosa trusted Earl with her life based only on a story her brother had told her years ago about a man she had never met. Would you have done the same? Would you knock on a stranger's door in the middle of the night and trust him with everything? Tell me what you would have done in the comments below.